You know, if you look up any competition level 2 drive off-road buggy today, you'll find that every single one has a mid-motor configuration. Someone getting into the two-wheel drive class today might be surprised to learn that, once upon a time, mid-motor buggies were actually extremely rare, and every competition level buggy had their motor hanging off the back of the buggy for maximum traction on low-grip dirt tracks. In fact, the first mass production mainstream buggy that had a mid-motor option was the TLR-22, which was only released 10 years ago in 2011. Before that, if you wanted to run a mid-motor buggy, you would have to pick up some specialized kit or conversion from a niche company like X Factory or Atomic Carbon. Or you could build your own. That was what I did in 2010 with my Kyosho RB5 buggy. The RB5 was a very capable buggy which, like all buggies of the day, came only in a dedicated rear motor format. I was curious about mid-motor buggies, so I tried my hand at building my own using the RB5. So here is the result. The buggy is built around a 3mm thick carbon fiber chassis with additional reinforcement plates on the side to reduce longitudinal flex while retaining some torsional flex for better grip. As you can tell, the front of the RB5 literally bolts onto the chassis. Where it gets more interesting is at the rear of the car. To achieve a mid-motor configuration, the entire gearbox was flipped 180 degrees. It may be a bit hard to see, but there is an additional support for the gearbox assembly located under the motor, where an aluminum servo mount has been machined down to bolt the motor plate to the chassis. The shock tower is now located behind the gearbox, and some additional carbon fiber parts were CNC cut to secure the rear of the gearbox to the chassis securely. Now, one interesting thing about custom mid-motor cars like this one is that by flipping the gearbox around this way, the entire transmission would now be running in reverse as well. So to get the car to run in the correct direction, it was necessary to reverse the direction of the motor. While this isn't an issue with sensorless brushless systems, censored systems that we use for racing are not always equipped with the option to run motors in reverse. So this car uses one of the few ESCs that had that option built in, a kinetic ESC from the once famous but now out of business US ESC manufacturer Novak. Back in 2010, this car was designed to use saddle pack batteries, and both batteries sat right in front of the motor, where they were secured with a carbon fiber plate and thumb screws. All the weight was kept centered. The idea was that this would make for faster cornering speeds and also better control as the car was mid-air during jumps. Here's the car in a local race shortly after it was completed, running amidst the full grid of rear motor cars on an old school dirt track. This RB5 mid-custom managed to take top qualifier honors and finish top of the podium that day. In recent years, the local dirt tracks where I live have given way to astro-turfed tracks. So I recently had an idea to take this car out of storage, dust off the dirt from the last time it was run, and see how it would perform on higher grip astro. Saddle batteries have since gone out of fashion and have been replaced by shorty lippos, so I had to machine my side support plates slightly to allow my modern shorty packs to fit. Two lead weights serve as simple battery stops and a set of Astro-specific tires, and the car is ready for its test run on the local Astro track. No other setup changes were made. I figure we'll just run the current dirt setup and see what it needs from there. The body I run now is a love it or hate it bulldog body from Proline. These were divisive when they first came out, But I think on some cars they looked okay. This body is actually less bulldoggish because it's actually angled nose down on this car. So here we are at the local track. Let's take a look at how it runs. Like I mentioned before, the car is running a shorty Lipo, Schumacher Mezzo rear tires, and a set of half worn out cut front staggers. The worn front tires reduce the cornering speed a bit, but the understeer is not too bad. Other than that, the car is literally running whatever I had on it 10 years ago, which is the Norvec ESC paired with an old Tekin 7.5 ton motor, which is way too much for this small track. So as you can see, the car handles pretty well. Very predictable cornering. Jumps and lands flush. Round the corner, down the straight. A little bobble there. The shock setup is probably a little soft given that it was set up for dirt. Takes these little jumps very quickly. And handles this sweeper with great confidence. Truth be told, I didn't expect the car to handle so well on the first run out. This is the RB5 Mid Custom, made in 2010, taken out for another run more than a decade later. I'll be enjoying running this car here at our local track with my buddies. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time. The rest of this is just a little bit of unedited running footage taken by a friend of mine. Thanks, Bernard. Good.